Okay, by popular demand from last class, showing you a little of how to move around the keyboard, and with the little house boxes that we discovered that I showed you, built around E notes in this E scale. Remember, this is for the key of E. This only works in the key of E, and you need to always think in terms of what key am I playing in, and what is the keynote or the tonic note. Um, I know Valerie said the tonic note sounds more impressive or something. Whatever note that scale starts with, and whatever key the song is in, that's the note that is all important to tie everything into. So let's look at this. I'll try to do it quickly because this is sort of like a show me what you did type thing, and I can hack around with it because it looks like a lot of fun. So, and it is the gateway to rock and roll types of leads and solos. So without further ado, I can talk about that next Wednesday. And without further ado, let's look at where there are E notes. First E note is the open string 6, or string 1, excuse me. We're only going to be playing on strings 1 and 2, as we have been this whole semester. So I have an E note on string 1 open, and that same E is on string 2 fret 5. Then I have a note, I'm going to go up to string 3 on this because it helps, it makes that little house shape. 2 here, 2 there, and then on top this, and on string 3 this E note, and then we have an E down here at string 1 fret 12, obviously because that is an octave, and you can build these little structures around those E notes that would be 2 notes. Let's look at the first one. We have an E here on string 1 open. So at string 1 open, string 1 fret 2, string 2 open, string 2 fret 2, and then string 3 fret 1 for the cap of that house. That should look a lot like an E chord because it absolutely is. So let's look at some of the little types of now to an A, excuse me, and then to the E, and then to the B, and then back to the A. So you hear how that works throughout the entire thing. There can do all kinds of little things with slides, with bends that I just did, and with hammer-ons, pull-offs, vibratos, all those little techniques that you can use in that little house system, right? Strings 1 and 2 open, strings 1 and 2 at fret 2, and then at fret 1 of string 3. Then you can look for the next E, and that is down here at string 2 fret 5, and that little box I can make anything that I'm just doing this down to the A, and then the B, or the back to the E, and then the B, back to the E. So you can see that these little notes that I'm just playing. I'm just playing notes from that little house right there. And they all kind of work. That's the important thing. They all work into this scheme that we've been playing the whole semester. That 4 bars of E, and then the 2 bars of A, and then the 2 bars of E, the bar of of B and then the bar of A. Now let's look down, and then I took this box, and I'll make a video following up on this, just kind of hooking these together for you to see how you can fool around with it. It's kind of fun. So you have an E here at string 2, fret 5, and this little box would now be string 1 and 2 at fret 5, and string 1 and 2 at fret 7, and then capped off in between on string 3. It's always the formation here. Makes it easier for you to organize in your mind when you're looking at this fretboard, that you're now down at strings 1 and 2 and strings at fret 5 and string 1 and 2 at fret 7, string 3 at fret 6. And you have an E here, so and if you want to take that down to an A, and then back to an E, to a B, and then back to the A, or over to the E. So you can hear how that little box basically works, and it works with some bends, because I don't want to get technical here and scare people off, but we're mixing up a major and minor pentatonics, which is perfectly okay, but it gives you some weird sounds sometimes. But that's the fun of exploring. You can explore and see where it's not quite right. And then you have little workarounds that you can take a note that doesn't belong and bend it up to a note that does belong. But for the most part, you can find a real familiar or cliche, you know, all kinds of repetitive little bends and things like that you hear in rock all the time. Let's go down to the next E. That would be string 3 at fret 9. And we have the same thing here. You have an E, and I have for A and for B. Any way that you want to roll through them, you can just hear with it in that box. You have all these little sounds that work well with this EAB progression for very good musical reasons. And the ones that don't work or don't sound as good, it's for very good musical reasons. But you'll hit them as we go along. So you have this down here. You have another E. You have same thing. And I just want to, we're down at this location, right down here. And that location is strings 1 and 2 at fret 12, strings 1 and 2 at fret 10 and at fret 12, and with the little cap here. The little cap is actually not what you want in a minor pentatonic, but I'll explain that when we have time. But you can't get it to work with a little bend. You get it work with a little bend, and sometimes you'll actually want to use that for that bend. And then you come down to strings 1 and 2. Everything we're doing is on strings 1 and 2 to get you acclimated to how these notes of the Dorian scale and the pentatonic scales work together. You get down to string 12 and 14, and you can hear that goes the same, that goes with all of this stuff too, and that's something that you can have a little fun with. Now I'll cut this video off and then just do a little exploring around here to show you how, when you hook those together, you'll find yourself moving up and down the fretboard and getting familiar with it. So let's cut this off right now, and then we'll go to just a little demo.